So there is this commonly held belief that there's nothing in Northamptonshire. A lot of people will often speak in disparaging terms of our towns. Unfair, I think. I've made it my home for 14 years and I don't want to live anywhere else ever. So we need to change the perception. Here's my bit. This is my effort to do so. 100 things we love about Northamptonshire. Things that we have that no one else has. Number 1, first cab off our rank, the wonderful Gallone's Ice Cream. Founded in 1935, based in Kingsthorpe. It's got a factory, it's got an ice cream parlour with the second one to open in 5 weeks, and distributes ice cream all over Britain. Will you meet the third generation, Aldo Gallone? Hi Aldo, thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
It was grandparents, wasn't it? Eduardo and Olimunda.
Yes, they met in Scarborough and then moved to Northampton. In 1935 is when they first started selling ice cream here.
And it helps that they came from ice cream stock, doesn't it?
Yes, my grandmother's parents made ice cream. My grandfather's parents made ice cream in 1895 in Paisley, where he was born in 1910. Yeah, and so it's all the way through the family, really.
And another bonus is the Italian pedigree. Is it an Italian creation, ice cream?
The first known ice cream parlour or ice cream place was in Pompeii, apparently.
Okay.
So that's one of the first places they can think that ice cream of sorts was sold. How they did refrigeration, I don't know.
Did they do a poor plug-in and they brought the whole place down to rubble? Was that what it was? Trinity Avenue first, wasn't it?
Yes, Trinity Avenue, Bective Road, then where the site we are on the Welford Road today.
Yeah. What was it before that place?
It was a wheat threshing farm. So it was actually an old farm before we took it over. We've got cine footage of them actually regenerating the new factory as it is back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It's quite surprising how small it was.
The height really was the 50s, wasn't it? There were how many ice cream companies in Britain in the 50s?
Thousands upon thousands.
About 8,000, weren't
there? Yeah. Northampton has always been a good place for ice cream. Other towns will have 4 or 5 factories. Portsmouth had 6 at some point. Then that went down to 2. It's the Ice Cream Alliance, I think, reached its peak at about 8,000 to 9,000 manufacturing members rather than just people who sold ice cream.
Yeah.
My father was a vice president in the 70s then. And so ice cream peaked. Yeah, 50s, 60s and 70s were the main era for ice cream.
And there was a film about ice cream wars, and I assumed it was fiction. It's not, is it? It has happened.
There is a place in Northampton, which I'm not going to mention, where we used to pick the driver on his size.
Really? Because it was rough.
It was, yeah, and there was a bit of competition and...
Would they come in, would they, into one's own territory and try and pinch the trade?
Sort of. It was like, the scuffles would break out, but that was even before... before I was even born, sort of thing. So it is different nowadays, completely.
You were the first one here, your company, with ice cream vans, weren't you?
Yes, yeah. Grandfather started off with a horse and cart, and that was in Trinity Avenue. And then he got an ice cream van, I think it was in about 1939, I think it was, around then, 38 or 39. I still got one of his ice cream vans, which is a 1948 Morris LD.
No.
Yeah, one owner. It needs a bit of TLC, so we're trying to find a carpenter too, because all these vans in those days were made of wood.
Yeah.
It's not fiberglass like it is nowadays, where you make a mould and all the rest of it. These ones are all bespokely built.
And your chime, your signature song?
Spinning Wheel, yes. Don't know how that came. I even asked my dad, why have we got a spinning wheel? And he goes, don't know. Grandad seemed to like it, so that was it. And that was the way it came about.
It could have been a lot worse, couldn't it, Aldo?
Yes, it could have
been.
Be
honest. Now, you very kindly sent in some tubs here. These are 2 of your flavours. So we've got dairy chocolate chip and we've got dairy vanilla with real pod pieces. These are 2 of how many?
We do 8 flavours. We are doing at the moment, looking at bringing out 3 more, but we're in the middle of making a yoghurt ice cream, which we're trying
You're waiting on Greece, aren't you, for that?
The ingredients have just turned up, and the gentleman has kindly sent me a preliminary recipe. We have made a couple of attempts ourselves, but nothing I would honestly try and sell.
No. Talk among yourselves, will you please? I'm something of an expert on chocolate ice cream. Yours is delicious.
Thank you.
Just delicious. Tell me this is not Grandad's recipe.
The main, what we call mix for ice cream nowadays, is all what my grandfather used to do.
Wow, and then you just fine-tune it, do you, to change technology and what's available now?
Yeah, changing technology. Certain ingredients become unavailable anymore, so you just slightly tweak it to the main thing. But the stuff that goes out on the vans, the ice cream that goes out on the vans every day, that is the very recipe that my grandfather used to use.
Good for him. What a quality thing, eh?
Well, it's he always used to say, give somebody a quality product at an affordable price and you'll always have happy customers.
And you took this further, didn't you? You if the business was Northamptonshire, and would go to counties nearby. You took it much further. You've taken it out to the whole country, have you?
Well, we primarily push our market down in the south, between Bristol and Clacton, all along the south coast. We do have a couple of customers and wholesalers up north who distribute our ice cream. We're just in the middle of doing a proposal for China at the moment. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see how it goes, apparently. And
have you ridden through the recession well? Because you are... Well, are you? I eat ice cream all year round. I was going to say you're weather dependent. Are you? Ice cream is especially the ice cream vans. They're very weather dependent, and the business has changed quite drastically in the last 20 years. Recession proof is a hard thing to say. We suffered a little bit in the recession, like most companies. People just don't have the money to spend. Yeah. But like I said, if you give something a quality product at an affordable price, people always have enough money for an ice cream. This is not a luxury, my friend. This is almost a religious requirement. I think you'll find this. It's almost a religious requirement. And what's in it? What's required to make ice cream on an industrial scale? Is it cream, first off? Both. I mean, the ice cream that's made fresh every day is made with vegetable fat, and the dairy ice cream is made with double cream. And both can be used. Cream sometimes nulls a flavour, a certain flavour, so doing a strawberry is very difficult because cream lessens the flavours. So adding cream to something like a coconut ice cream really wouldn't do it any favours, so you'd have to use a vegetable-based product. Okay. And if one sells in Northampton, does it automatically follow that the same thing will sell well in Brighton? Oh, no, it's regional, absolutely. It used to have quite a few good debates on trying to cut our flavour list down. We do 40 flavours of ice cream, and trying to keep them all in the cold store at the same time is absolutely murder. So I said, right, okay, we're going to sit down and rationalise the flavours that we do. And then they went, well, if you don't do rum and raisin, them in Clacton won't be happy. And if you don't do mint, over in Cardiff won't be happy. If you don't do so, by the time my wife and a couple of the production and sales staff sat down, we went from 32 flavours to 38. And I was thinking, this is not rationalisation. This is not working, Aldo. It's not working. I said, I'll come back. I want 32 only. And they basically put their foot down and said, no, you'll be doing the 38, and now it's even 40. So well, you're adding more stuff, aren't you? Yeah. Do you add more to the roster every year? We look at what sells and what doesn't, and what people are asking for. We've been asked for a Turkish delight. I'm afraid to say Turkish delight is not my favourite cup of tea. But, quite a few people like it, so we'll be trying that one. Just doing a short run of Turkish delight, see how that goes. What about a cup of tea ice cream then? What about a cup of tea? Iced tea? That'll probably be more of a sorbet. Yeah. That'll be probably
lot more refreshing as a sorbet.
You're doing Bellini sorbets, aren't you?
Bellini sorbets just won the Great Taste Award last year.
You might be a genius, Aldo.
It was champagne and peach ripple through it. Now that was nice, I have to admit. We also did a mojito, which is nice, but the Bellini is a lot nicer. A lot nicer.
And you've just branched out with this parlour, which is a fantastically exciting thing.
Yeah.
50s diner seats. It looks the business. And it's at the shop in Kingsthorpe. You're also opening one month after next in Market Harborough.
Yes.
And that's your baby, isn't it?
Yes. Parlours, it's my grandmother's parents used to have ice cream parlours in Portsmouth. And my wife's parents actually met in my grandparents' ice cream parlour in Portsmouth, and so it's seemingly coming full circle. It's a nicer way of displaying your ice cream. It's less weather dependent. It gives kids a new experience. They come in, you can see them pressing their noses up against a glass.
Yeah, but it's not just kids, is it? You were telling me you did a party for kids, and more adults turned up than the children.
Yeah. It does always seem to be the way that we do quite a few parties in the parlour, and when you actually ask the kids, so is it your choice? And the mother always goes, oh, of course it was, of course. And there's the mother tucking into a extra large sundae going, yes, isn't this lovely? You wanted to come here, didn't you?
I think it's a great idea. I went to a parlour in San Francisco. They were genuinely queuing around the block. There's a big demand for them. And they have gone out of fashion in this country, so bring them back.
Thank you.
Bring them back. We love Gallones with a passion. I don't normally do interviews when I'm eating through the whole... But it's your fault. You brought them in. So the parlour is open now in Kingsthorpe, and then June 1st, isn't it, Aldo?
Probably about the second week in June.
Okay.
Struggling with builders at the moment.
Okay. Well, have a good, profitable and happy summer.
Thank you very much.